Good morning, children. Today we will start with our new lesson number 6, delicious buns. I hope that you all enjoy buns, especially in Gujarat. You are eating dabeli, you know. So, in this story, there is one more man who like buns, but I think stealing is not a good practice, as and you must also not steal. Okay, so let's see what happened in this story. Before going to start, let's see some of the word meanings. First is raisins. Children, if you get the photo, it's better to stick it in your notebook. Okay, raisins, you already know. This is comes in dry fruit, especially on in cakes. You find this. Okay, Christmas. Now, windowsill. As you can see in the picture, what is windowsill? Okay, so now the third one is tiptoed, to walk on your toes with the heel of your foot lifted off the ground, especially in order not to make a noise. Sentences: he waited until his daughter was asleep, then tiptoed quietly out of the room. Next is goodness gracious. It's an exclamation mark, you can say, of surprise, dismay, or alarm. Now, children, you can find while reading this text, so there are some two infinitives. Like what I find in the text, that is to cool, to put, to fetch, to eat. So later on in the grammar part, we are going to discuss this. So keep an eye on these infinitives also. Okay, so let's get started. Here is a warm-up exercise. Let's share our ideas. As you can see, there is a comic strip at a restaurant. Waiter: here is the pizza you ordered, sir. Should I cut it into 6 pieces or 12? Customer: 6, please. I could never eat 12. Here you can see in the box of the waiter there is question mark. So this is what something humorous, funny. Why? Because the customer requests the waiter to cut the pizza into 6 slices, saying that he would not be able to eat 12. The waiter is surprised because this was only mean that the slices will be smaller while the actual size of the meal will remain the same. So that's the question, actually, answer which I gave. Why is the waiter surprised? Now next B, you can see down, make a compound word for each of the following. What is compound? That is, as you can see in the picture, first there is a bottle of milk, and second picture is man. So with these two words, one word is made, that is milkman. So this type of words are called compound words, which is made of two. Like the second one, you can see there is a watch, and again man. So what is the new word? That is watchman. Okay, who secures or takes safety of the colony, society. Okay, guarding. So that is watchman. Now the second picture, you can see second number. So arrow it is there. That means it shows a direction, that is up. And the second picture is stairs. So what is the word? That is upstairs. Upstairs in the sense that means uh, above the stairs there is something. Okay, so there is upstairs. Every Saturday, policeman Jones had tea with his sister, Mrs. Smith. He loved freshly baked buns. She baked big buns for him. She put lots of raisins in them and sprinkled sugar crystals on top. After baking them, she put them on the window sill to cool. Then she went upstairs to put on a clean dress. So, this was what she was doing, Mrs. Smith. Every Saturday, okay, for her brother, she used to make delicious buns. And what was the name of her brother? That is Jones. And he was a policeman. Okay, so he liked buns, delicious buns that was. And with what actually she used to make raisins and even sprinkling sugar crystals on top. And where she used to keep? On window sill to cool. Okay, and after that she used to go up to put on a clean dress. Mr. Black lived in a little cottage next to Mrs. Smith. He loved buns. Every Saturday he got the lovely smell of freshly baked buns. One Saturday he quickly jumped over the fence and took 2 of her buns. The next Saturday he took 4. So here you can see Mr. Black stealing buns. So that is not a good practice. So this Mr. Black was living nearby a little cottage, okay, of Mrs. Smith. He also liked buns. He loved buns. Okay, so whenever he got the lovely smell of freshly baked buns. Okay, so he also liked it because that was delicious. Okay, so one Saturday what he did, he quickly jumped over the fence and he stole 2 buns. Okay, so next Saturday he stole 4. He took 4. So this is bad practice. Okay, so now see what happened. One Saturday morning, it was 4 o'clock. Policeman Jones arrived. Mrs. Smith made tea for him. Then she went to fetch the plate of buns. "Oh no," she cried out. "I made at least 10 buns. 4 are missing. I will catch the thief." So one Saturday morning, what happened? Again, the policeman Jones arrived. Okay, at 4 o'clock. So Mrs. Smith made tea, and when she went to fetch, that means to bring those buns which she used to keep on the windowsill, but she didn't find because she baked 10 and out of it 4 were missing. So she now knew that somebody is stealing. Okay, and she decided that she will catch the thief. The next Saturday, she put a strong magic glue on 6 of her buns. The glue sparkled like sugar. She put the 6 buns on the windowsill. The rest of the buns she put on the dining table. Mr. Black jumped over the fence, crept quietly to the window, and took 2 of them. He tiptoed back to his cottage, took out a plate, but to his horror, The buns stuck to his hand. He could not put them on the plate. See here, Mr. Black could have asked to Mrs. Smith for buns, but he stole that. Okay, so next Saturday, what happened? Because Mrs. Smith wanted to catch the thief, she put on magic glue on it, and it was just looking like sugar, sparkling sugar. Okay, and she kept on windowsill as usual. Mr. Black jumped over the fence. He stole two, but when he came back and he took a plate, okay, and he wanted to put that buns on the plate, but it was stuck to his hand and he could not put them on the plate. He was frightened. Goodness gracious, he exclaimed in dismay. What happened? He cried. He called out to his goat, held out his hand, and asked her to eat the buns. She ate the buns, but the sticky thing was still there. He washed his hands in hot soapy water, but nothing happened. So he was helpless. He don't know what to do. So he called his goat. Goat ate the buns, but the sticky thing, it was stuck in his hand. He tried it to get free with hot water and soapy water, but nothing happened. He decided to go to his sister for advice. As he was walking along the road, he met Policeman Jones. Good afternoon. How are you? He said and held out his hand without thinking. To his horror, he found the policeman's hand was sticking to his. So Mr. Jones forgot that still his hands are sticky. Okay? And he forgot that his hands are sticky and he held out his hand without thinking. Okay? And what happened the next? Mr. Jones and Mr. Black's hand, it was stuck. Okay? So the policeman was annoyed. Let go of my hand, he shouted angrily. I can't, said Mr. Black. I am stuck to you and you are stuck to me. So they are helpless. Let's go to my sister's cottage. She will help us. Mr. Jones said this. Growled the policeman, that was Mr. Jones. Mr. Black did not want to go, but he had to. Policeman Jones went to his sister's house holding Mr. Black's hand. Mrs. Smith was surprised. Well, I didn't know you were such close friends, she said. Okay, she was surprised. And because their hand, it was stuck, they were still holding, that means Mr. Jones and Mr. Black still holding their hands. So Mrs. Smith thought that actually they are very close friend. Okay, so let's see what happened next. I am not his friend, her brother said angrily. He has a sticky magic on his hand. He cannot wash it off. The policeman, Mr. Jones, said that he is not his friend, but their hand was stuck because of sticky magic. Now Mrs. Smith realized. Her sharp eyes went to Mr. Black's red face. Why Mr. Black's actually it was red face? Because Mrs. Smith come to know that he's only the thief. He only stole buns from the windowsill. Oh ho, she cried. I know where that sticky magic has come from. You have been stealing my buns, Mrs. Smith said. You have been stealing my sister's buns? Mr. Jones said. Stealing them? You are a thief, roared the policeman. Come along to the police station. All three went to the police station. Mrs. Smith poured some magic water on their hands and the stickiness was washed away. Let him spend a night here, she told her brother. It will teach him a lesson. So see, children, stealing is not a good practice. Okay, later on you have to pay for it. You could have, that means Mr. Black could have asked Mrs. Smith. She could have given. Understood? So when you like the things, you can have ask instead of stealing it. Okay. So now Mr. Black have to spend the whole night there in the prison. So Mrs. Smith still puts her buns on the windowsill every Saturday afternoon. But Mr. Black does not come near them. Now he doesn't like buns. See, because of that only, because he was caught. Understood? So this is what happened in the story. So never steal anything.